This is Justin Stokes.
Hi, it's Rob calling. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. What's going on?
Hey, man, I wanted to chat with you about 12th and Broad's interview for the upcoming appearance in Nashville.
Yeah, sure. What do you got?
Well, I wanted to ask you first and foremost, what can fans expect from your stand-up in the area?
Well, I started out as a stand-up, and I take it pretty darn seriously, and I think they'll have a good laugh. I guarantee a good laugh.
You guarantee a good laugh.
Yes.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about for this tour?
Just the usual stuff. Stuff people can relate to. Hopefully, I mean, as I'm getting older, I find myself wanting to be more honest about things and human frailties and you know the I guess if now that your body's starting to fall apart, that's kind of funny to me. Uh, and I think that those kind of things. I mean, that's a little bit of stuff with not so much politics, but a little taste.
I understand.
I mean, it's the same shit, different guy, same shit, different president.
Do you feel that all presidents are like that? That they're all exactly the same? That they're carbon copies who are continuously disappointing?
In a word, yes. But I would just say, the domestic policy, foreign policy never changes. I mean, it's just, Obama is just President Bush with a better jump shot.
Right.
It doesn't change at all. It's just the same. I mean, he should have to return that Nobel Prize, I think, by this point.
I would not disagree with you. I think you're right on the money.
But these are for jokes. Nobody wants to come see me for my political views. You got to just do it for laughs. But I think if you can get some laughs and get people to agree on something, that's fun too. It's easy to pick on a president who's been there for 6 years because he had to make choices. I mean, I don't agree. I don't disagree with everything he does. I mean, some things he's tried to do and he just couldn't do. I mean, that's the most mildest form of gun control you can imagine. He had was, his idea of gun control, knowing that he couldn't really pass gun control, was to limit the amount of guns in a clip, bullets in a clip to 10. I mean, that's the most mildest form of gun control you can imagine. We're not going to have any more bullets than 10 per clip. That's your gun control? I mean, Europeans laugh at us. But, in America, it's impossible to get that through. You try to do it with humor.
Right. No, I understand. Do you feel betrayed after an event like Sandy Hook or one of the many other gun-related instances we've had where there's been a national tragedy and that there's been no real change in policy?
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, who hasn't? If you're not outraged by that, then what are you outraged by? I mean, you have to find you don't have to dig too deep in your own personal psyche to go, that is just a horrendous, world, not just a national tragedy, it's a world tragedy. Children getting killed, and we also have to look at the psychological makeup of the offender, of that kid. I mean, was that kid, you have to find out, what led to that. Was that kid on any prescription drugs? Was he on, psychiatric treatments? Was he, how did he get access to those guns? I mean, you got to look at everything. And yes, things happen in society, and but there's just we have to question, and you have to do some soul searching to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. I mean, otherwise, what are we doing?
I hear you. Let me switch gears real quick, touching on the concept of you coming to Nashville. Do you have any spots for dinner or a drink which you like to regularly visit? Any places you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, well, there's that 50s place where the three different musicians, they switch instruments every song. It's right down the street from, it's right on the main drag there in Nashville.
Right
I
on.
forget the name, but I go there every time. And I just, you know, they're not only good musicians, they're the best musicians in the country, if not the world, or in Nashville. And they just, there are guys who play one instrument pretty good, but these guys can play everything. And they can sing everything, and they know everything. And it's like, I guess the only equivalent I've ever seen is like a guy like Christopher Walken, who can sing and dance and act. And you got these guys who can play the drums, the bass, the guitar, the trumpet, the banjo. I mean, it's the saxophone. They can do it all, and and there's so many of them. And at the end of the day, what I really like about it is they're just happy doing things they love the most, which is just playing. I mean, that's, you live out in Hollywood, and there's just so much. You think about the business of show business, but you don't think about necessarily. You don't think about like the joy of it, because you get so wrapped up into the business of it, But there, it's like they love playing, and it's infectious, and it's one of my favorite things to do is just stop in there and go on stage and sing a few songs.
Talking about the joy of being an entertainer versus the business side of being an entertainer, do you feel that in later years people have tried to, or not intentionally, of course, but do you think that people have taken your joy at times out of the business?
Well, you have to take responsibility. No one can make you feel anything you don't want to feel. You have to make that choice to feel. You have to take responsibility for the choices you make, including your own feelings. But yeah, I mean, I've allowed myself to get swayed by that and then choose to feel bad. Sure. I mean, there's ups and downs. I mean, at the end of the day, I remember talking to Adam Sandler. And we were talking about one of our movies that was opening. And he said, dude, our career is relying on what 14-year-olds decide to do on a Friday. If they want to go see our movie or not.
Do you have any regrets with that? I mean, you've shared something that is kind of, and forgive me, I don't necessarily agree with the statement, but you've shared something that was similar to the thoughts of the L.A. Times, which is that they called they referred to some of your comedies, such as Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, as sophomoric. Do you have any regrets with that as an entertainer? Do you feel that your cubbyholding is something you don't want to be?
If I'm going to allow myself to be defined by what a critic thinks of a movie that he didn't even watch, probably, and then then I'm being insecure as an artist. I have to do what excites me. I mean, if you take a look at the high watermark of comedy of the 20th century, it's Monty Python. And you can call them silly, sophomoric. You can also call them brilliant and absurdists. I mean, and I think there are all those things. I think at the end of the day, you have to do what you like, what makes you laugh. If you're trying to just manipulate and do what other people think is going to be funny because you're trying to please them, then you're miserable.
Sure. No, I hear you. I wanted to ask, touching on your recent efforts, it's my understanding that you are working on a very big project, which you are fully helming, entitled Real Rob. Can you give the readers of 12th and Broad a breakdown of specifically what this is, as well as what your goals are with the program?
Well, instead of buying a house, I paid for a TV show. Instead of a house in Beverly Hills, I paid for a TV show. It's more of instead of doing a reality show, which would be boring, I wanted to do a scripted show that was pretty darn close to the bone, in a sense that I would think that would be it's more interesting. I mean, in a way that would be something I would want to launch that's kind of, risking more of myself. In a way that I'm comfortable with, an exaggerated version of myself.
I hear you. Talking about the program, you worked with Full Sail University, which actually isn't too far from the Middle Tennessee area. Describe that experience, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, they're just good people. That they have 84% placement for their students. You tell me any other university that does that, and pushing out really good people. They prepare them for a life in the entertainment industry, and they do a great job. They just care more. I mean, when I went there, the first question and last question from them was, how does it help our students? And I said, well, I will hire them, I'll work with them, and I'll teach them what I know. And it's been a great experience. And I'm sitting right here in an editing room with one of their graduates, Nick Voitas.
That's a phenomenal shout out, by the way. I think you just made that kid's year.
He's 23.
Really, he's 23 and he's working on a Rob Schneider comedy. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Wow. Wow. So you're in Florida right now. Is where you're calling from?
No, I'm in California. We're out in Hollywood, but we go back and forth. I might do some final mix out there. It depends.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask, what inspired you to do all this? I know you had joked and said that this was, sort of the equivalent decision of buying a house, and you'd also talked about how you had a discussion with Mr. Adam Sandler that you were sick of, well, not really sick of, my apologies, I don't want to insert words, but you shared that 14-year-old sort of had an influence on your career. What specifically made you want to put up your own money, made you want to... Go ahead.
I'll cut you short. It just, I wanted all the controls. I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do. The only person telling me what to do was how much money I had and how many days I could shoot, how much light there was.
No worries.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that a what level of, for people who aren't in the industry, what level of liberty would you say that gives you? I mean, how do you feel when you do something like that?
I mean, except for how much money you have and how much light there is, how much day you have, what equipment you can get, and what actors you can get, I had 100% control. But I can't control how much sunshine there is. You can only have so many hours in the day, so many hours at night. You can only keep the crew for so long, and you can only shoot for how much money you have. So, but other than that, it was 100% control.
Would you say for an experience like that, forgive me, would you say that with an experience like that you are completely liberated from all the other ties that have been expected of you with previous shoots, previous projects, previous TV shows and movies?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with the studio system as long as it's good. I mean, sometimes, there's good notes from the studio, sometimes you're bad. You just want to do the good ones. You don't want to get, but you have to also, I have to sell this someplace. I mean, either Netflix or FX or somebody's going to buy this thing. And, they're going to have their notes and they're going to have their stuff, but, they're not going to make an apple and orange. That's a good thing about delivering a finished product. So we'll see.
Gotcha. Where would you like this program to end up? If you had total control over that, where would you like to see?
You're asking the wrong person because I'm just a maker of product. I don't really like. I was just at Harvard University. They honored me at their, the hasty pudding thing over there, and I asked the kids over there at the Harvard Lampoon. I said, "Do you guys watch TV?" And they all said no. I said, "What do you watch?" They said, "We watch Netflix. We watch stuff on computer." And so, I got to go by that. I'm a dinosaur.
Okay, so you feel that you're sort of the byproduct of a bygone era, and you are wanting to put something out for a newer audience that will have.
I didn't say that. I wouldn't say myself. I said I'm a dinosaur as far as how people view stuff. I still think my stuff's pretty damn good.
No,
I wouldn't say that. I just say let's see what the hell, where kids want to watch the shows.
Forgive me, I didn't mean in terms of your content. I meant in terms of the paradox of abundance, that there were 3 or 4 major networks who made or broke somebody's fate and sort of dictated what went where, what time slot, and now with the separation of time and location with, digital media, you don't have that. That's really what I meant. I'm sorry, I should have specified.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess it depends. You have to. It's still a. Content is still king. They have to show something, and if it's good content, it'll find a home. I'm less worried about where, as opposed to make sure that I get enough eyeballs so people can enjoy it, because you want to make your art for as many people as you can, and that's part of it. I think that's the fun part is just seeing the reaction from people.
Very cool. As this program develops, are there any actors, writers, or other personnel with whom you've been dying to work? Any friends or any
Yeah.
people you've admired?
Well, I mean, I'm going to try to get Adam Sandler to be in season 2. I mean, I have something I think will be fun for him to play. I didn't ask him to be in season 1. I didn't have a good thing good for him. But I put David Spade, George Lopez, and Norm Macdonald. Those are buddies of mine that are in the first season. And, keep in mind, I'm the only actor who's ever paid for an entire season of a TV show.
So you're sort of pioneering in a lot of ways. You're pioneering digital content for, I would argue, a creative experiment that at least American content has not seen before.
Well, I mean, yeah, hopefully. Hopefully that's. I believe that. It's just, hopefully it's less of an experiment than just a regular good TV show that people want to see and that somebody will want to put on. I mean, there's places, whether it's Amazon or Hulu or what have you. I mean, like I said, if it's good, it'll find a home. That's the thing about it. You just have to make sure that it's quality. From the writing to the production, to the look of the thing, to the editing, to the sound. Everything's got to be top notch. And that's all I know how to do is to make like a studio quality product. I mean, it just happens to be the content happens to be in a way very specific to what I like. So it's good.
Sure. Let me ask, in terms of Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald's one of my favorite entertainers out there. Like, you have no idea. What's it like working with Norm Macdonald from someone who has fostered a friendship with him?
You give him a decent script and then let him play with it, and give him the freedom to play with it and do what he wants and see where it goes. I've known him we have a real shorthand. That's one thing good about him. Can you put up number 3? Get that ready to go. Or discuss this, guys, and see because we don't ever answer this problem. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at him in the editing room here.
No, take your time.
You have to, there's a shorthand working with guys like Adam Sandler, David Spade, who worked on and off for 30 years together. So you have or 25 years. You have a shorthand. You don't have to explain anything. Just get out there and start doing it. And then, it's like baseball. The guy, when there's a ground ball to third baseman is run on first, the second baseman knows where to go. Shortstop knows where to go. The first baseman knows how to know that he's going to be probably getting the try for a double play. The pitcher knows where to run. He'll run behind it. So at a certain point, the same thing with acting and comedy. You just there's a certain anticipation, whether you're playing soccer or whatever. The guy knows where to expect the pass, whether it's where the cross is coming from. It's the same thing. It's just we do it a long time. And there's less to discuss and just more to do, because sometimes if you discuss it, it takes away some of the fun of the discovery of it happening right in front of you.
I see. So there's something to be said for sitting with somebody, even even though you have this sort of bond with people where you can just say a few words and they totally get it and get where you're coming from. There's something to be said for the creative process, for being on set, for figuring things out, and ultimately for letting the script breathe its own life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why Adam Sandler, he asked me to do his next movie, because I think he knows and trusts what I'm going to do, and if I have some changes, there'll be a shorthand to it. There won't be a longhand to it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean. Before I let you go, because I did want to keep this under 20 minutes, I understand you're, running and gunning with this project. Is there anything you wanted to share, or anything you wanted to discuss in regards to your upcoming appearance, October 10th and the 11th, or anything that has nothing to do with that you just wanted to discuss, or did I leave anything out, or?
No, I like seeing I like that little club, because you can do things in that little club you can't do anywhere else. And that's what's particularly special. That's why I like it, and I'm looking forward to coming out, and then just you can really have a great role there with an audience, and I'm looking forward to trying out some new material, and that's one of the places I like to try out material is that Nashville Zany. It's a wonderful club.
Really? So this is sort of a club that lets you platform new material that hasn't been heard anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I like to try and work stuff out there, and if it works there, it's such a supportive crowd that they'll go with ideas that are a little crazier than some other places, because it's an artist-friendly town. People know that, and they're not, that they like, they like, when you try things, and you kind of get that sense the reward risk in that sense. And that I like.
I hear you. I hear you. It sounds like it's going to be a great show, Mr. Schneider. Thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you Friday night.
Thank you for your interesting questions, and I wish you continued success in your career.
Hey, most certainly. You the same. Take care. Bye.